Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Mike and Easus. Making sure all my levels are right. I did some member content over the weekend. I did some...
I did see the tape recorder, or not tape recorder, but the boom box here.
The boom box here, yeah, that's how I got to listen to the CDs, the best of Drew and Mike CDs. So I did. There's some good shit in there. Harris Poll and some other things. So, yeah, that was a lot of fun. But it sometimes it screws up my levels a little bit as I'm adjusting stuff and whatnot. But look at you, Easus. You look like the biggest slappy in the history of slappies. You got your Michigan Wolverines championship hat on.
I do.
So what'd you go to the Chrysler Arena parade?
I didn't do the pay for Chrysler thing. I just did the parade outside.
Oh, they charged for that?
That was yeah. I know, right?
Wow.
Got to raise money for the NILs, I think. Or
sure. They've only got, what, a $40 billion annuity?
I know. But
yeah, whatever.
No, I know. But I didn't do that. And you know what? I wouldn't have done it anyway. I've been to almost all the parades that we've had here in town. I think I've only missed one Red Wing one.
Yeah.
I like the parade. I didn't really care to go to Chrysler Center and sit there. And I don't care as much about hearing the speeches. I like the fun of the outside and them going by and the cheering. That's what I like.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And I did it. I'm glad you know what's funny? Last week, remember I had the whole talk about how I just hadn't been embracing some of this stuff and I kind of was bummed about it. I said, hit up good, freaking listener, Dan, who I knew he'd fucking go. I'm like, you're going to the parade, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like,
oh, did you hook up with Dan?
Yeah. I'm like, can I meet you, man? I should go. Why?
Yeah.
I should go. And
you glad you went?
Fucking so fun.
Yeah.
So fun. We had a blast.
We got hanging out with Dan the whole time?
Yeah. We met at the M-Den. That's where I got my hat and stuff. They had the trophy there, the Croach's trophy. It was there. Got to take a picture. And we hit it just right, man. We were right outside of one of the few frats. So they were blaring music.
Yeah.
And it was a blast. It was so fun.
Well, you've got the cool hat. I usually, those championship hats always look tacky to me. Mm-hmm. I used to buy a ton of them. I bought 49ers when they won Super Bowls. I don't know where they are anymore, but Tigers when they were in the World Series and when they won the American League, I buy one.
Yeah.
All the Red Wings ones.
Right.
I bought, but they all look tacky to me, like not wearable. This one's actually pretty cool.
It is annoying. I think if you remember, it's annoying because obviously they're just meant to put the little M on.
Yeah,
because this would have been a W. Side. And I guess the Jordan logo would not have been here.
Yeah.
That's a good point, actually. The Jordan logo would not have been on Washington's.
I don't know. Are they Adidas? Or are they
I don't know.
Nike school?
Maybe it would have been. But, the W would have been there. Having said that, maybe it's not actually like it. Maybe it's been 15 years since the 2008, freaking Wings Stanley Cup that I bought a hat.
Yeah.
But I loved it.
Didn't we send you in 2008 down to Detroit to get hats for us?
I wasn't
on the Drew and Mike show.
Before me.
Was that? I thought we sent
before
you
my time,
somewhere.
Mike.
We sent someone somewhere.
Some
hats,
that was, in my time frame there. That was when we were in the rough patch of our sports history here.
Yeah.
So,
that's true. Well, it doesn't matter because the Lions. Holy shit! What a cool feeling to be a Lions fan for all these years and see what unfolded at Ford Field. I mean, you couldn't write a better Hollywood script to have Stafford come back to Detroit and the whole Goff McVay thing. Like, there was so much built into that. And I know that story got old because it's all they talked about for 2 weeks or for a week. But it really was intense. And to see them come out and play the way they did and then hold on at the end and give it away, I mean, incredible. Incredible.
I told you before, I had an absolute anxiety attack before the game. I could not. The moment was too big for me. I almost was like, I had a point, Mike, dude, where I was like, will I even be able to go sit in the seats? I felt so...
you sound like Clark at some of those Spartan games.
I needed, and you know what I think? I almost needed the paper bag, breathing into a paper bag. I ended up going down to the smoking section outside, and which was even more funny, by the way, because I would never have ran into this person. I knew, listener Amy, White Oprah, my podcast, co-host. I knew she was going to the game.
Yeah,
but we weren't really gonna meet up necessarily. We were just whatever, and. Because I went down to the smoker section, and then that's where she enters the games, and she just happened to be right. Like I was just coming out.
So you got to see
and then
Amy
I saw her and stuff, and that helped a little bit. But I'm not kidding you, dude. I think for me personally, even I just put all of that on me, as dumb as that is. I know I'm not a player, but I've wanted this since I was a kid. You know, I've wanted this for so long to see this. The 30 years, you're at Ford Field, and I just think like I got there 2 hours before, and you're watching that clock, and I just
going crazy.
I'm putting all this weight on me.
Well, it was really cool. You know, we didn't hear all the chants that were going on. All the
Jared Goff.
I heard it after the fact.
Yeah,
it was
loud,
dude, loud, and that dude had to feel that.
Based on his post-game press conference, I feel like he did.
Yeah, it was
Not
impressive.
The fans, anything?
Who?
Whatever.
Stafford?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll get into all that. Yeah, I saw that
Asshole.
too. And we're gonna get Henson on here in
know.
a minute. We'll get Henson on to talk about all that. See if he's back. He said a Lions playoff win, and he's back on the bandwagon.
Can I ask
Kool-Aid drinking?
Can I ask you? Like I know, like you said, Henson. You guys will get all into this on a more in-depth level. But did the it come off on TV like it was loud? Or no?
You know what? They don't really, but you know it is.
Okay.
It just
sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's weird. Some games
it
feels like
it was
it
loud.
is.
What was impressive was kind of impressive all year when the Lions would be on the road on a primetime game. So they had like 5 primetime games all year, and they'd be on the road, and you'd see the amount of fans that hung out after,
right,
and were part of the broadcast. And every time they'd have some crew there. And the crew would be like, this is unbelievable that these fans are all still here.
Yeah.
When I was watching the Chiefs game earlier in the day, right? You had the Chiefs game, and when the Chiefs had that pretty well in hand. No.
Chiefs game would have been the night before.
Or the night before.
I'm sorry. Just because
no, I'm glad. The Cowboys-Packers game. Holy shit. Hilarious.
Uh-oh.
But the Chiefs played Dolphins.
Dolphins, yeah.
And when that game was in hand, and granted it's outdoors and it's cold
as balls,
half that stadium was gone.
Yeah.
They emptied. When that Lions game ended, nobody left that stadium.
Yeah.
It was like a cup final or something.
And they were, dude, that stadium was full an hour before the game.
Yeah.
And I think you know what's funny is the bitter fucking cold almost played into the favor of us because nobody wanted to be outside for them. I know some people still tailgated, but everyone by 6 o'clock wanted to be in the freaking stadium. And dude, when we walked in, I have never felt that. The buzz in that stadium, people just walking and yelling.
It
just
would
like
have been so bad if they'd have lost.
It would have been
just devastating.
And I know it was close. I get it.
Yeah. Hey, who cares, dude? When it comes to the postseason, win the game. I don't care if it's ugly. I don't care if it's pretty, a blowout. It doesn't matter. It's just different. And you win the game however you need to win it.
Yeah.
And they did. They didn't fall apart. They didn't make that one crucial error at an untimely
they really
time.
didn't.
They just played hard, and they got out to a lead, which is what you have to do.
Yeah.
And then they were able to hold off the Rams. It was awesome.
The only time, I'll tell you this, by the way, the only time I actually thought they were going to lose it, because even though the Rams had gotten a few of those drives, and luckily we held them to field goals, but I kind of kept thinking, well, Goff's going to have another drive again, finally. Like, it's been since the first quarter. But when they when they didn't, I'm trying to think, the one time they didn't get it, when they held them to the field goal, they got within 1, and the Lions didn't score on that next drive and gave it back to them.
Yeah.
I was like, shit.
Yeah.
This is over.
Yeah.
I mean, holy shit. I really didn't believe it until that point, though. I kept thinking Goff was going to finally have another drive or something.
Yeah.
Like, dude.
Didn't need it. Didn't need it.
Thank God.
Ballsy call by Coach at the end. Why don't we get Henson on? I was gonna talk about the future, the show and the future and all that.
Okay.
But why don't I hold off for now, and let's get Greg on the phone. I know he's watching that Bills Steelers game, and that game's over. The Bills are going to win that game.
Right.
It was going into the half at 21-7. Pittsburgh had just scored.
Right.
But why don't we get Henson on? He was sitting around, and we'll put him on the spot as to whether or not he's officially back. Lord. Is he back? He said that's all it would take.
One win.
What's that?
One win. A playoff win.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, is this Kool-Aid Hotline?
It is the Kool-Aid hotline. It's also the fucking Cry Me a River hotline for Lion fans.
Oh yeah, what are you bitching about now?
Are you seeing all these videos of grown men crying?
Yeah. I kind of dig it.
That gives me the worst douche chills of all time.
Oh my god.
Well, it just shows you how much this means to these people.
Oh, horse shit. It's a football game, you pussies.
Yeah, you know what? I feel that way when I see like Randy Moss weeping on TV because
I know.
Some fucking random ghetto rat was killed. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Sorry. I mean, but I feel like it then, like, really?
Yeah. You don't even know him.
You didn't know him. You don't know anything about him, and you're buying into this narrative, and now you're sobbing at it. Like, stop it.
I'm just seeing these videos of Lion fans sobbing, and I'm like, really? Is this all you have in your life?
Look at you.
You know what? Wait, I'm sorry. I know you don't know me very well, Greg, but you can have other things in your life and still care that much, I feel. I really do.
No. You're a douche nozzle.
Well, we're going to have to agree.
Did you fucking cry? Did you cry?
I didn't cry for this. I have cried for multiple sports events in my life. I will tell you that. But I did not cry for this one. I did have.
Wait a minute. You cry at sporting events?
I've cried when I bawled my eyes out when the Pistons lost 0-5 to the Spurs. I was like,
wait, how old were you?
I mean, I was 21, 22.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's one of those, dude. He's theme dressed today. He's got Lions pants on, Lions Ragnow jersey, Lions sweatshirt, and a Michigan national champs hat on.
I'm cool. I'm cool with wearing the gear. I mean, what player are you dating?
I mean, we're obviously gonna disagree in this. I will just say I have no problem crying over a sporting event. I'll just say that.
I'm shocked he didn't cry last night. I wanted pics and video, and I was gonna post it and shame him, but he didn't end up crying last night.
Let me ask you a question. Did your boyfriend hold you?
Oh my God.
He was there with his dad.
I was there with my
His
dad.
probably held him.
You know what's funny? I think the only reason I didn't cry last night, honestly, is I got confused on the clock situation, and I really didn't understand what was kind of going down. That they were about to kneel the clock out. Like I didn't really get what was happening, and so
that's what we're dealing with here. Right?
I'll tell you right now. My kid was sitting there with me, and if he'd have cried, I'd have slapped him silly.
I'll only say one other thing about that. I have cried. I used to cry quite a bit, actually, over Lions losses. And my dad, at one point, did have a talk with me at 7, and he said that the Lions have never won in his life. You shouldn't expect them to win yours, and I should grow up. But it didn't do much. I kind of kept doing it. But
my God, man!
Anyway,
I can't.
I'll let you guys have at it.
No, that's cool. I'm just seeing these videos, and I'm like, dude, what is wrong with you?
Don't you understand? This is 30+ years of pent up. It's why you wrote the team off. You wrote the franchise off. That same emotion that drove you to do that drives these people to hang in that long. And for a lot of people, Greg, don't you think they're thinking about their father who passed away 5 years ago that never got to see his favorite team win shit, and like the Cubs full country.
I know. That's true. That's true.
I would say this. I can't speak for these other people. On my end, not to be mean about it, but I live a really, I think, very fun and cool life. I have quite a bit outside of sports. Sports has always been my absolute emotional release, I would say. I just love it that much. But that's me. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
Well, you have a lot outside of your life, apparently, except pussy.
Well, that's true, but that's neither here nor there.
I'm sorry, man. I'm just busting your stones.
It's all good, man.
It's true though. It's very, very true. I mean, it might hit a little close to home for East, but he's used to it.
Yeah.
If you keep crying when teams win games, you're never going to get laid.
Well, to be fair, I would say I've mostly only cried of losses. I don't know if a win has ever brought me to tears.
I don't know,
I think about it.
You've talked about it many times on this show, just how lousy you are in bed, so that doesn't help either. he's not getting any repeat customers from that.
No, it's because as soon as it's over, he cries and wants her to hold him.
Yeah. Not to mention, he's not afraid to have a woman pay for dinner on a first date.
That is not.
It is true. Do not make me pull up audio, Eases. You know that's true.
Well, she should pay if you're going to give her a ride to Pound Town.
Well, he's definitely not doing that.
No.
Definitely not doing that.
Anyway, whatever.
So, Greg, as someone who has covered this team for decades, who has followed this team, who has bailed on this team, you have been telling me for all season, one playoff win. I need one playoff win. So what does that mean for Greg Henson? Are you back on the band?
Well, I'm not Lions free anymore.
Okay.
But what I will tell you is it can never be the same after what, 30 years of horse shit?
Yeah.
I could never be as passionate about the Lions now as I was back then. It's just too much water under the bridge. They're still my team. They're the only team I cheer for, but you know, like I'm not running around crying over wins. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah,
you know, but I'm happy they won. I'm happy for fans. I just think some people are way too emotionally invested. Even my wife didn't cry, and she's a chick.
Yeah. Well, she's married to you too, so
what?
She's married
I've
to
toughened her up over the years.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't expect her to cry, but
yeah, she's tough. She's a tough old grizzled bitch. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And there's nothing wrong with that. So, so is this a day, Greg, where because I know as someone who's been in radio that those circles my entire adult life and certainly professional life. There are certain events like that happen when you're on vacation, for instance, and oh my God, this big event happened globally or nationally, and you're like, oh my God, I wish we were on the air right now. Is this one of those where you ran the biggest sports talk station in Detroit during some of the worst years of the Lions, and you know, I mean, you guys went so hard on the Lions over the years that they banned you guys from stuff. They didn't even want you. They didn't want you talking about them. They didn't want, you know, it was ugly. Is this a day where it's like, holy shit, I wish I was still running a big sports station in Detroit to be able to go in and talk to fans and listeners about this kind of historic moment for them?
No.
No?
No, you know, like I said, I got tired of it at the time, Mike.
Yeah.
It was when we were in the middle of it, you know, when Barry retired, that was the first cut. And then it was like, I just got tired of bitch. I took myself off the post-game show after a while and let Regner do it. I was just tired of the same old crap every week.
Yeah.
And, you know, I hear the guys down there sometimes talking about it. And I don't know. I mean, I feel, honestly, from my perspective, been there, done that. You know, let the other guys do it now. It was just kind of, I got tired of it at the time. But it was really great, you know, back when we first started doing it, you know, like in the mid to late 90s.
Yeah.
But I don't, you know, I can't take the slappiness anymore. Like, I hear the Dan Miller calls. I see, you know, the people tweeting stuff. Like, I just saw a tweet of Brad Holmes screaming in the elevator, and I'm like, shut up.
Yeah.
You know, give me a break.
I don't know if that's us getting older or
it is,
and more jaded, because I feel the same way. And I've told you this before. I've talked to you a little bit about this before, but I thought it was really interesting when Steve Young retired. And he was like, it wasn't the concussion, you know, when he got lit up by the Cardinals. No, I couldn't take one more coach's rah-rah speak.
I know.
In the locker room. I couldn't do it anymore and take it seriously. I didn't want to run through a wall for those guys. You have to be a young guy to buy into that bullshit.
Well, think about when we played high school football, okay? Mm-hmm. That's all we wanted to do, man. And it's all it mattered. And I think back, I couldn't imagine doing that again. It was so douchey.
Yeah.
The coaches were such cheese balls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But when you're 17 years old, it's fucking great, man.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we're the baddest thing going. But
well, I went to Harrison, so I never played football there. They were a you know, pre-college level team, you know, at least when I was there. And famously, Coach Sutter, the assistant coach there with Coach Harrington, put his head through a blackboard. And that was
so stupid.
For years and years, it was like, oh yeah, this is the blackboard Coach Sutter put his head through, trying to rally the troops. And for high school kids, that's enough to make you want to run through a building. I get it.
Well, We had a coach after we lost to Berkeley 2 years in a row who put his fist through a window. And this was our offensive coordinator, our little Weasley guy who we loved. But it was always like our coach, we found out later, would do stupid shit like paint Go Athens on our field and then tell us they disrespected you. And I was like, and we such a bunch of little. So it's kind of like when I see that shit now and, I'm like, whatever, man, it's a football game. I mean, I'm not even emotional about Michigan winning the national title. I mean, that was sweet. Yeah. But the best part, let me tell you, the best part is a 55-year-old man watching my kids celebrate it.
Yeah.
Because it is for young people.
Yeah. I don't want to come off like we're bitching about this, like, we're not able to get excited.
It was great fun to watch.
It was, and we'll get into the details of it here in a moment, but I know exactly what you're talking about. When my Niners were in the Super Bowl against Ravens? Or no, Kansas City in 2019. And they lost, the Niners lost that game, and I came downstairs the next morning to do a show, and I had a ton of email from people like, oh my God, you're probably going to avoid the air, blah, blah, blah. And I went on, I was like, you know what? I'm really happy. They made it to the last game of the season. They didn't win it. It's all right. Like, I didn't have that feeling like I would have as a high school kid.
But if you had a kid, you would. Like, I leaned over to my wife during the Michigan game, the Bama game. I said, I just want them to win this title so they get to see one. And they'll remember someday sitting there with the old man and with mom watching the game.
Yeah.
That's what it is now. We're older now. Been there, done that. I saw a playoff victory. Hopefully I get to see 2 in 1 year.
Yeah.
But, I've seen the national championship. I've seen the NBA titles. I was in the locker room for all 3 of them. I've been in the locker room for the Red Wing Cups.
Yeah.
So, I could – a lot of people are asking, well, don't you want to be in Ford Field for? I'm like, no, I'm good. If my kids don't want to go, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
It's just, it's good enough to watch them live it. You know what I mean?
Totally. I totally get
I've done it, and I'm not mad at anyone for it. I just think my kids didn't cry when they won.
No,
you know what I mean?
They probably knew
I see people crying. And they know I would have slapped the shit out of them, and then their mom would have slapped the shit out of them.
No, and you probably wouldn't have assaulted them. You would have laughed at them, though, and you would have made a shitload of fun of them. Yeah,
I would have said, hold on, don't cry till I get my camera out.
Yeah, exactly, which is what I did when Dan Vogt was at the Michigan game, when Isis was at the game last night. I was like, I want pics and video of you clowns crying. I like, don't you dare cry in the stands and not send me pics and video. Like, I have to have that. And neither of these guys cried this time. I couldn't believe it.
And it's just you and I being dicks because we think it's funny.
Yeah, totally. But
and I'm busting your balls about crying, and I'm only a little bit teasing.
I mean, I don't care. It literally doesn't bother me. And to be honest, if I had cried, I would have showed him the video of it. I would not have cared. I would not have. I don't let you guys rail on me for that. It doesn't bother me. I'm comfortable in it, but I get it. I do think there are people, for sure. I will say that when I listen to sports radio now, because I still do listen to it decently when I'm in town, and I will say I love the game. I love watching the game. I get very emotional about the game. I do not care about doing people calling up Dan from Lake Orion to say what his breakdown of the game is. I don't care as much about that anymore because I'm like, dude, you're not on the team. They're not asking you who they want to draft. It doesn't matter. Whatever the team does, I just go, okay, this is my team this year. I hope they do good.
Yeah.
But it's funny that you bring that up because I see my kids living and dying with recruiting for Michigan and who's coming and who's going. And you know what my standard line is to them? There's always another piece of meat. Someone's going to play that position. Someone's coming in. You know what I mean? There's always another player. So whenever someone transfers or something, I'm like, relax.
Yeah.
There's another 6'4" muscle guy out there.
100%. But you got to admit that this year, if you want to transform a team in the NFL, you're going to do it mostly through the draft. And the Lions have failed spectacularly over the years in the draft.
Forever.
Have had really, you can go back to Andre Ware and really high picks. You're not going to swing and miss on all of them, but on way too many. And then you see good franchises and it's like, they got this guy in the 5th round. They got this guy in the 6th round.
Niners always did that.
Niners. You think of the early Patriots, not in a while, but early on when they drafted Brady and stuff. Like, that's franchise changing stuff. What the Lions did this year, whether it was luck or superior talent scouting? I don't know. But when you look at Jahmyr Gibbs, when you look at Laporta, when you look at Brian Branch, Campbell, Jack Campbell. When you look at these guys that are making an immediate impact on a good football team, and it's impressive. You have to admit.
I think it's a little luck, but a lot of smarts. I really think Brad Holmes is a good general manager, and I think he showed that in his first season here. And I'm glad Dan Campbell's winning because he's kind of fun to have around.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, I think it's smart. I don't think it's luck. I think Brad Holmes has proven everywhere he's been that he kind of knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Which means he'll leave soon.
Well, I don't know, man.
He won't.
This could work out to be kind of like what they've done in San Francisco with Kyle and John Lynch.
But think about this for a minute. If you can't get fired when you suck, how long can you stay when you win?
Yeah. Well, I was glad they didn't make a rash move when they were 3-13 or whatever the hell they were. And it's like so many people are calling for these guys' heads, and it's like, hold on. They got here a year ago. Relax. Right. This was not going to be an overnight. And he said 3 years at the time. And here we are in year 3 going into the second round of the playoffs with another
but hold on.
game.
Here's the best part. Dan Campbell was scary his first 2 years as a coach on the sidelines.
Yeah.
He made a lot of dumb mistakes.
Yep.
But he learned from them all.
Yeah.
He doesn't make the same mistakes all the time anymore. He kept when he first was here, it was like, man, what are you doing? And you're doing it again. And then he seems like the type of meathead who can learn.
Yeah. Don't you think I really chalk a lot of that up? Now, this happened a few weeks ago too, and you were kind of going ape shit about it, and I understood. Going for it on 4th down or fake punt your own 30.
Well, I think he whipped his balls out instead of doing the right thing.
Right. But I think a couple years ago, he just absolutely knew my team is not as good as this team. I got to steal some possessions. And I think that's what he was doing. And he got that kind of like, that nickname, Gambling Dan or whatever, and stuff like that.
I think he let his competitive instincts get the best of him. That's all.
Really?
He should have been level-headed and said, fuck, it's from the 7 now. Let's kick this.
Yeah, maybe in that situation. I don't know. You're
I didn't mind on the 2-yard line, but then it went to the 11 and back to the 7, and I'm like, both of those last two he should have kicked, taking it to overtime. Give yourself a chance to win. That's a low percentage play.
Yeah, but it all worked out, didn't it? Because the Cowboys got smoked yesterday.
Only because the Cowboys are fucks.
How fun was that to watch, by the way?
I laughed so hard.
Yeah.
I hate the Cowboys. When I had to do their post-game show in Dallas, I did their post-game show 3 years on the network in Dallas. Misery. I hate it. I love Jerry Jones, but I hated the Cowboys.
Why? Was it the callers that called in, or was it just the...
No, I hate the team. I've hated them all my life.
Yeah, me too. As a Niners fan and as a Lions fan, I've despised the Cowboys. But
the Cowboy fans are nice. They were good guys. They were really nice people. I just hated the Cowboys.
Yeah.
There's
a kind of arrogance and cockiness that they're almost living on, like, we're the Cowboys. It's like, no. I understand what Aikman and Irvin and Emmett did in the 90s. That has nothing to do with you, Dak Prescott. Stop acting like, the bar is high here. It's Super Bowl or nothing. It's like, dude, you've barely won a fucking wild card game. What are you talking about?
I know.
You don't have any standard.
No, and Jerry Jones. Every team that won yesterday, only one owner spoke.
Him,
Jerry.
Yeah, he can't help it.
No GMs or no owners spoke for any other team that won yesterday, except Jerry, and he didn't even win.
Yeah. Well, they can't wait to stick a camera in his face, and he's
a good dude, though. I'm telling you, he's funny.
Oh, I bet he's a ball. I bet he's like Trump. I bet he's a riot.
He used to come on the show. Here's the funny thing. Every time you'd ask him a hard question, he'd say, "Do you like those 3 banners hanging up?" That's all he'd ever say whenever you asked him a hard question. And he'd laugh right in your face about it.
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit.
No,
what is he? He's an 81-year-old billionaire. What does he care? And he's got
does
3
not care.
titles. No.
He's got no fucks to give.
None. And I love that about guys like that. When it's like, dude, I've been here long enough. I have more money than I could spend. You think
Right.
you're gonna trip me up in this bullshit? No. Forget it.
No,
But-
I loved him. I loved
Yeah.
him. He's the only thing about the Cowboys I like.
Yeah, yeah. I just the arrogance, the attitude, the former players that act like this team. That team is soft, man. It comes down to that. That team is soft, and when they go against a competitive team that can hit, they fold, and they look
I'm
like they did
shocked the
yesterday.
Packers did that to him. I mean, the Packers seem to be on a bit of a roll now.
Yeah, I'm a little worried for my Niners playing them next week. I got to be honest with you.
The Niners will beat them.
I think so. And I understand why people around here would really want the Packers to win that game, so you could get a 3rd home game in Detroit if the Lions take care of business next week. But
Yep.
my guess is it's going to be really tough for me because my guess is the Lions will win next week at home, and then they're probably most
You
likely.
think it's Philly or Tampa?
I think it's going to be Tampa.
Probably, but I want Matt Patricia's fat ass here.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great? See him
Yes, I would love
wobbling
to
about the
beat shit out
sidelines.
of him.
What kind of
Yeah,
reception? Yeah.
Hey, did you see all these the tweets about Ram fans saying dirty player Curtis Joseph and look
I
at this
did.
hole? And I'm like, the Rams have fans?
Right?
Honestly, I didn't know they had any fans.
Yeah, no, I know, and we prove it every week because every single week when they're at home, the stadium is 3/4 filled with opposing teams'
Yeah.
players. Yeah, Kirby Joseph got that hit on Higbee, I believe.
Yeah, a little low, but it happens. It happened last week to Laporta. I don't care.
Yeah, and Kirby Jones did it to did he do it to Hawkinson 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, and they were calling him a dirty player then. I've never thought of Kirby Joseph as a dirty player.
They were calling Hutch a dirty player yesterday because he knocked Stafford the hell out. He was knocked out too.
Knocked out. Yep, 100% concussion.
Yeah.
Where was their protocol for that, by the way?
I know. He just went in and took some smelling salts, came back out.
Yep. And I said when he went into the tent, I'm like, he's going to come back and play. There's no way the league is going to yank this guy from this game. They're just not going to do it. But anytime you see someone's eyes do that, the way his did, rolled back and then up at this, he was either out. He might have been out for a minute, but he definitely was concussed. 100% he was concussed.
Yeah, no doubt. He got creamed.
And if anybody thinks the league actually gives a shit about these players and whether or not they're concussed, that's hilarious.
Well, you know what? I don't care either. Just play.
Yeah, no, I know. I get it.
It's like I don't care about player safety. That's on you, Matt. If you got knocked out, you got to tell them you got knocked out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't be a dumbass. It's your brain you're dealing with. And then what is with this psycho Kelly Stafford saying the fans booed our kids?
Yeah.
No, they didn't. They booed you. They hate you.
They can't stand you.
They don't care about your daughters. They're just cute little things.
Yeah. What are they, like 4 years and under? I mean, no one was booing her kids.
She's a professional victim, man.
Yeah, it's really weird. You would think Matt would go home and go, you know what? You're not helping, honey.
Right.
You're not helping. Now she's got a podcast and people are quoting her like she's important. And it's like, what? Why are we quoting Kelly Stafford fell for a fucking internet meme saying jerseys were banned. Stupid promotion. She fell for it and made it a national story. Like,
you know what? Look at Goff's girl. That's a woman.
Yeah.
God damn, Christian Harper. Have you seen her?
I've seen her. She's in a commercial here. Isn't she in a Ford commercial or something?
Is she?
I think she and her dog, her and Jared and the dog are in a truck commercial.
Oh, that's
or something.
cool.
Yeah.
I like Goff. Always have.
Yep.
Happy for him.
I am too. Let me ask you this. How significant, as someone who's followed the Lions as closely as you have, Greg, over the years, how significant was this win yesterday?
Well, I don't think you can discount how big it is to get that monkey off your back after 30-some years.
Yeah.
But it's you're only as good as your next win, man. If they go piss down their leg in the next week, people are going to be pissed again. You know?
Yeah, I think
even psychos will. You and I will go, hey, that's a step in the right direction because we're older and I hope a little wiser.
Yep.
Like like after Michigan beat Bama, I said, well, if they don't beat Washington, it'll suck, but it was a step in the right direction, right? You got a playoff win.
Yep. Yep.
But you know, a lot of younger people, they don't have perspective, and if they lose next week, they're going to trash them.
Yes, I think if they were to lose to the Niners, I think fans around here would go, well, nobody expected them to beat a team like that with that kind of defense and that kind of offensive firepower. There are levels to this
on
league.
The road, right? On
the road in San Francisco. But if they can't handle Tampa Bay or what looks like a decimated Eagles team, then I could see people going, dude, you were at home, you're playing Baker Mayfield, and you couldn't handle your business. But I think they'd cut them a lot of slack in a championship game. I really do.
You know, I'm the season's made for me. This was the one. All I wanted was that playoff win.
Yeah.
Everything else is icing on the cake.
Gravy. Yeah. And most of us thought they were still 1-2 years away anyway. So this is all.
No defense yet. They need more. They need better defense. That's all.
I was going to ask you about that. Do you think this defense can stay? Because, you know, they were letting the Rams move up and down the field, but holding the Rams to 3 field goals on 3 red zone trips was the difference in that game. Period.
Yes, and the defense played way better than I thought. I honestly thought Stafford was going to come in here and rip the Lions' hearts out.
Well,
be honest.
he tried. Yeah,
it was set up that way.
Yeah,
but they did. That defense, man. They just need a couple of pieces on that defense. They need another corner.
Yep.
And they need a linebacker to go with Campbell and Anzalone. I don't know how much longer Anzalone's going to be here, but, you know, maybe a defensive lineman. They need 2 or 3 players to really be a great unit.
Do you think Rodrigo could step into that position, or was that all hype video from?
That was all hype, 6th-round guy. I think he's a character guy who can be on the team, but I don't think he's ever going to be. Oyster just jumped up on the bed and she's sitting here with her tongue sticking out of her lips.
Hi, Oyster.
She's a good girl.
Yeah, she's great.
But yeah, I think they just need a couple more guys on defense. This draft will be big. If he can get 4 or 5 guys again out of this draft, set that team up for long-term success.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and then you got to figure out what's going to happen with that quarterback. You know, you got to pay him, but the minute you start paying guys is, you know, can you pay Decker then? Or do you got to go get another tackle? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you got to pay that line. You got to keep that, but because you don't have a quarterback that can move at all. I mean, he is a frozen statue back there.
He's a pylon.
Yeah, he's a pylon back there. He really is. And there's you've got to keep him upright. But you see when the thing breaks down and he's got to get out of there. You know, even slow guys can do it. Stafford can get out of the way and Brady was famous for that. With as slow as he was, he could move the 6 inches he needed to get out of harm's way and make a play. Goff struggles with that a lot. And you talk 2, 3, 4 years down the road, you know, that becomes a liability at some point. But, you know, I don't know what they have. Is Hooker that guy?
No, probably not.
Probably not. Yeah.
I doubt it. I mean, they don't have to really draft a quarterback for another year or 2 if they want to get a developmental guy. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Goff is young. I'm more worried about the money because he's going to demand $100 million at some point.
What do you think he's what is he making now? 30 million or something like that?
Yeah, he's already expensive. Well, here's the thing. The contract's getting better by the year because the money keeps going up.
Right.
So his contract 2 years ago was an albatross. Now it's middle of the road.
Oh yeah, guys are making 50 a year now.
Yeah, and he's going to get $100 million for 2 or 3 or for 2 years.
Wow.
He's going to be up into $50 million too if he wins, especially if it was another playoff game.
Yeah, that's just death to a team though. If you've got to pay one guy $50 million, you just can't sign the. I mean, look at Kansas City. You know,
that's why the Niners are killing it because they got all kinds of money to spend everywhere else.
Yeah. Oh, dude, when you're paying your quarterback $900,000 a year, I mean,
JJ McCarthy made more money this year than he did.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're going to have to do something. They're going to end up insulting the kid if they don't pay him this offseason. I just wish there was a way to go. Here's a $30 million bonus check for the last couple of years.
Nip it in the bud.
Yeah.
Nip it in the bud. Re-sign him now. If you like him, re-sign him now, and you'll get him a little cheaper because he'll go, oh, shit, they opened it up before my deal was done.
Yeah.
I'd rather have $30 million than $1 million.
Yep. 100%.
But teams don't do that. They're strong-armed the shit out of these guys.
Well, I don't understand the player that wants his, and everybody's like, oh, he's earned his, give him his, all these analysts. And you're like, dude, do you understand that if you even took 10 million less a year, I know that's absurd, but if you took 40 instead of 50, that's the difference between having another star wideout or a star lineman or like
they don't care.
I know they don't care, but it ends up hurting them in the long run.
But they don't care about championships. They want money.
Yeah.
That's one of the bigger problems with all of sports is it's more about money than championships. You know?
Yeah. I guess I miss the old days because Tom Brady didn't operate like that. Jerry Rice didn't operate like that.
Nope.
A lot of those guys didn't. They were like, no. Don't take away all our weapons because you're paying me. You know? And believe me, Brady got everything that was coming to him. Trust me on that.
Yep.
He did, but he restructured a couple times. It was like, no, we need to get guys in, and that's how you win a bunch of championships. What's going on in the background? You could talk near.
Oh, no, I don't know. Nikki and Cooper or Noah are talking about, I think, his doctor's appointment or something.
Oh, okay. Do you need a minute? Go ahead, finish.
No, we're good. We're good. They're looking for his wallet.
Hey, what did you think of the story the only story anybody wanted to talk about all week, the Stafford McVay Goff story? Do you think that was real or bullshit or just a storyline?
Wait, what was the storyline?
Stafford traded for Goff, and Goff was just throwaway, and McVay didn't give a shit about him and ditched him, and now you've got this rivalry of Stafford coming home to Detroit, the prodigal son, and Goff.
Okay, let me just say this: Stafford's dead to me.
Yeah.
He's gone. Fuck him. He's gone. And I don't dislike Matt Stafford at all, but he's gone. He's dead.
Yeah.
You're right. I didn't care about him coming back, and I thought people who wore Lions jerseys were idiots. But I did like the guy I saw who just put J-Mo over the back of his. It was pretty funny. Yeah. But I like the fact that Goff stuffed it up McVay's ass. I would think that's great. I mean, the storylines are fine, but I do think they're overhyped. Like, if Patricia comes in here, I so want to see that fat lard ass kicked up and down the field. He's such a dumbass.
Yeah.
He's just an over-the-top, smartest guy in the room prick.
Yeah. Don't you think it's funny, too, when they talk about, the genius of Bill Belichick, and you look at his coaching tree, and it's the biggest flop in NFL history. Every branch on the Bill Belichick coaching tree is a disaster.
I know.
You look at, go back to Mike Shanahan, and you look what his tree sprouted and what's going on with Kyle Shanahan right now and the tree that's going all over the league and winning. And,
what I want to
Belichick's is embarrassing.
It is, because Billy keeps it all in his weirdo mind.
Yeah.
You know what I want to know? Whose idea was it to hire Dan Campbell? Was it Spielman? Was it Sheila? Because I want to give that person credit.
It wasn't
no one
Sheila.
Saw that.
It wasn't Sheila.
You don't think so?
No. How would she know? They brought in.
It had to be Spielman, right?
It had to be.
Because Brad Holmes hadn't been hired yet.
No. How many guys behind the scene would have known, like Spielman? Spielman would have been one, knowing that this guy
He's
was
the only one.
Yeah, he really is. Now
so it's because if it was Spielman, people got to give that guy credit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No one saw that coming.
And we haven't heard word one from him. I haven't heard anything from him.
He's standing in the elevator in front of Brad Holmes yesterday, when Brad was screaming and acting like a fool. Spielman's standing there almost like he's like, really, dude? Just doing this in an elevator? Relax. Act like you've been there.
Yeah. But they haven't been there. That's
Spielman has.
Sort of. I mean,
he won a playoff game.
Yeah, I guess. 91.
Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah.
Beat the goddamn Cowboys.
Yeah.
Badly.
Yeah, that's true.
Here's the other thing that happened last night. You know, the last time an opposing quarterback tripped for no reason and fell on his face? It was 91. Aikman, as a rookie, came into the game to relieve Steve Berline, And as he came off the bench, he tripped and fell on his face, and I've never heard a crowd louder in my life.
Really?
And last night, Stafford on a play drop back to pass and tripped over his own feet.
Yeah, I was waiting to see if it was a lineman he stepped on, but no, he didn't. He literally tripped over his own feet.
I told my kid, I said, I've seen this before.
Did you end up watching some of the press conferences and stuff like that after the game?
Just on TikTok and stuff. I can't take the Dan Campbell videos. I think it makes him look like a slappy, and he's not.
Yeah.
I can't take the Dan Miller play-by-play calls because it's Slapfest Palooza.
Yeah.
So I don't watch a lot of them. I just saw some of the clips.
Yeah, it makes me sick. They've got a guy in San Francisco, and every time I watch highlight videos of that, he has a call. You know, he's trying to be like the old Yankees announcer or something, and he's doing this touchdown San Francisco. Drives me nuts.
I know.
The corniest, cheesiest, and every TikToker or YouTuber that's putting together videos has to include it 10 times in a video.
Every Lion fan loves Dan Miller. And don't get me wrong, Dan Miller's one of my favorite people on the planet.
He's a great dude.
He is.
Yep.
But it gets a little slappy at times, especially last year when they weren't very good.
Yeah.
It's easy to be slappy now because they're fucking winning.
Yeah.
But last year was like, oh, Dan, you got to pull that back about 100%.
I might be one of the few people that still wishes Mark Champion was doing it. I've never liked Dan
Champion's
on the thing.
Not terrible.
No, Champion was great.
I've never liked Dan not personally, but on the Lions broadcast, I always liked Champion better. But I don't know if most people care anymore or not. But
you know what though, Champion was the classic play-by-play voice for the NFL.
Yeah, it's great. Fantastic.
We used to joke about him all the time because whenever the Lions fucked up, Champion would go, "Oh no, another Lion penalty."
I'm pretty sure
it was so good.
Is that why he got out in the end? Was it just that he was? I feel like he had a real they had a bad team and he was real negative one year. I don't know what happened, but that's always
remember, Wayne Fonts brought him from Tampa with him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I think what happened with Champion was I think they just wanted to move on.
Gotcha.
And I don't know, and he was doing the Pistons and that kind of thing. But and maybe, you know how crotchety old guys get, and it was probably just didn't want to have him around. I mean, Dan is super easy to work with.
Yeah.
Dan Miller is just about as cool a person as you could be, and he's easy to work with, and he's accommodating, and like they want these play-by-play guys to do other things too, like talk at the Knights of Columbus and all that shit.
Ugh.
And at clients, and like Ernie Harwell didn't want to do that at the end either, and that makes sense. You've come a long way. You don't want to be out on the rubber chicken circuit all the time.
No. Was Ernie, by the way, speaking to him, was he the nicest, sweetest man you've ever talked to?
Ernie was a sweetheart and a godly man. I had dinner with him one night for 3 hours in Lakeland. He was amazing.
Yeah.
He knew everyone, man.
He
knew Ted Williams, and he knew, Lou Gehrig and all these guys. It was amazing. Him and Joe Falls.
Yeah. I don't know Joe, but we used to get Ernie on quite a bit, and I remember I would love calling his house because Lulu always answered the phone.
She always answered. Yeah.
Always. And she'd answer the phone, and she was the sweetest woman ever. And then she'd go get Ernie for you, and he acted like you were an old friend every time you talked to him.
Well, the funny part is when I worked at 97.1, I had a character called Dirty Ernie, but I would never put it on the air.
Oh my God, you did?
We did it once, and I was like, that was hilarious but uncomfortable because he'd be like, "So last night I'm giving it to Miss Lou."
Dude.
And I'm like, no.
Oh my, you have no idea, and I don't think I've ever talked about this. Mike Clark and I used to do off air a Dirty Ernie impression. And it was like,
really?
So I'm fucking Lulu in the ass last night. Dude, and Clark and I would howl because
dude, there's something wrong with us. Seriously.
I don't think I've ever told anybody that. But we
started doing that with a guy who did I had a guy who did a great Lloyd Carr, and he could also do Ernie, and he would call in, and Michelle and I were like, this is so funny, but it just feels so wrong.
Yeah. Dude, I didn't know anybody else was doing that. Clark and I used to do it every time we had Ernie on. And it would go it would go for an hour. We'd be just back and forth. The dirtier you could get, the better. And we could both do Ernie's voice enough. And we would just fucking laugh and laugh. It was so raunchy, you could never put it on air. And it would be horribly offensive to poor Ernie and Lulu.
Well, you know, it's funny. We used to do that with Arthur P. when I worked with JJ.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
We'd all just sit around going, this radio station came out of my ass.
Yeah. The funny thing is, everything dirty you could say about Art, he probably did. So
it was real.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He actually told me at a bar once, he goes, I ate this chick's asshole out once. Tastes like tin foil. He told me that shit-faced at a bar one night. I was like, Art, you are a fucking trip. Tastes like tin foil.
You're like Art, go home.
No, he's a treasure. Absolute treasure. I love him.
Arthur P. But it's funny because it was JJ and George and me, and I'm just their fucking producer, right?
Yeah.
And we're just one more raunchy thing that Arthur P. would say. It kept going and going, and George was fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Well, those guys that have those almost cartoonish voices, those historic voices, if you can get a little bit of their cadence down, then anything they say is hilarious.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything.
It was brilliant.
Which is why the Ernie worked so well, and probably why you guys were doing it too, unbeknownst to me and Clark. I had no idea.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Well, we were doing it. We were doing it off the air mostly, but it got on the air a couple times when we talked to Ernie, and he'd be like, Miss Lulu's giving me a gun job.
See, yeah, we never had the balls to go on the air with it.
Oh, dude, we had when we did that Claude Lemieux bit all those years ago, people thought that shit was real.
What was the Claude Lemieux bit again? Remind me.
After Draper got busted this face by Claude Lemieux, we had Don Swindell, who just passed away, by the way. Swindell would come on in a French accent and call Draper a girly boy, and and people calling and go, "Up yours, Lemieux, we'll kick your." And they thought he was real. And then every morning after the Red Wings would lose, I'd go, "Oh shit, there's another FedEx here," and it would be a song by Claude Lemieux making fun of the Red Wings, like "Have I Told You Lately" by Van Morrison.
Oh yeah,
and it would start, "Have I told you lately that you're roadkill?" And then he just talked about what a bunch of girlies they were.
Yeah.
He was good.
You know what? You know what's ironic about that is Lemieux did an event with Darren here last year.
Yeah,
and he was the fucking most well-spoken, nicest, humble guy you'd ever talk to.
Did he speak French Canadian accent though, or was
do you remember
I don't remember.
I don't think so, but maybe he did. But no,
we made it up, dude. We made it up. It was
yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. But Don was really talented.
Yeah.
Hey, did we hear what happened with KC, by the way?
What?
Ken Calvert?
Oh, that he passed away?
Yeah, do we know how? Was he sick?
I don't know. I saw all the posts. But Kenny was a nice guy too.
He was a really good dude. I didn't know him that well, but I heard great things about him all the
time. Yeah. He was working with the Pistons, right?
Oh yeah, he was before Mason.
Yeah, before Mason. Yeah. Yeah, he did. We had Joey Marasso got married. He was someone that we had hired on the Drew and Mike show. He was kind of a behind the scenes
producer. I've heard that name.
Yeah. And Joey was like, for his wedding entrance, he wanted, and Kenny was in the building. So he was like, hey, is there any way you could make the announcements like it's a Pistons pregame? And they would play the song, the final countdown. And Kenny was like, absolutely, and announced the whole wedding party as if they were coming onto the court, And
that's awesome.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's so unique and so cool for Joe and for the wedding party, but Kenny did that for him. I'll always remember that.
Yeah, he was a good guy.
Yeah. Going back to the game, did you find Stafford's comments afterwards really petty?
Kinda.
Yeah.
I mean, why not just say, yeah, I'm happy for these guys. I lived here a lot of years. I'm happy for them.
Yeah.
Wish we'd have beat them. Wish we'd be celebrating, but I'm happy for them. He just couldn't do it. And you know what? There's something in me that I've always felt like he was a bit of a phony.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's. I don't think he's a dick. I think he's a phony, and his wife's a narcissist, which makes me believe he might be too.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, you could have just given it to him, dude, and people would have loved you forever. But now they look at you and they're going, he's kind of a dick.
Yeah, it was kind of a dickish thing to say because it would have been so easy. Look, it's done. McVay had nice things to say about Goff and what he's done here. They all talked about the environment, how amazing it was in Ford Field. And then for Stafford to be handed talk about a Nerf toss, softball question. Like,
but
hey,
I wonder if that wife of his said, Matthew, they booed our daughters.
Yeah, maybe. But Matthew, he always seemed to rise above it. He always had, like, he never shit on a teammate or a coach. Like, there was something about his behavior after the Super Bowl win that I didn't like. There was something.
When that bitch fell off that thing.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Well,
he turned and walked away.
Yeah, he turned and walked away like, I don't want anything to do with that bitch. She fell on her own. But no, there was an arrogance and a cockiness and a shit talkiness that we've never seen with Stafford after that Rams win. It was like he couldn't wait to come out and be that dude, which took me by surprise. I would have been equally surprised if like Steve Yzerman finally wins the cup and then is kind of, I don't know, like shit talking.
You know who did that after they won was Ben Wallace.
Oh, really?
Ben Wallace used to come on our show. We made him a star, you know. And then the night they won, he got up in the middle of the locker room and outside talking to none of you motherfuckers. I'm like, are you kidding?
Are you serious?
I was like very disappointed in him.
Wow.
Not that he gives a shit, but I was like, come on, man.
Right.
You know, this town's treated you really well.
Yeah,
that happens.
That's tough, man. Especially when you get to know these guys, you know.
You know who it didn't happen with?
Who?
Yzerman.
Really? Did you?
Same guy before, same guy after.
Yeah, I believe it. It
didn't happen with Billups.
Yeah. No, we used to have Chauncey on. Chauncey, we were paying him for a bit. He'd come in studio. He'd bring his, what did he drive, a Rolls Royce or a Bentley?
Yeah, that was before me. I do have
but he was great. He was the nicest guy. He'd come in. Robert Porcher was great. Robert would come in.
Oh, he was the best.
Yeah, he'd give us Christmas gifts. I have an autographed football from him upstairs, you know, and it was
I got a helmet from Scott Mitchell's wife.
Really? Yeah,
and real helmet.
Here's how I judged people's character. When celebrities would come in or players, if they only cared about the top talent guys and ignored all the people around the show, and maybe that's just because I wasn't Drew or Mike, so I get it. But when those guys came in and it's like, dude, you've been in here a dozen times. Are you going to pretend I'm not here? You know, Mickey Redmond was always sweet to us. You know, he's got issues with me now, but whatever.
Why?
Who knows? I think because I didn't go with Drew to the 105 thing. That's the only thing I can think of.
Why would he care?
Good question. It's a great question.
And why didn't you do that? What the fuck's wrong with you?
Well, because I thought I could do something here, you know.
Thank God for that. How dare you? Don't let him question that. That's why I'm here.
You mean doing a podcast?
Yeah. I thought we would have been better off doing a podcast. I thought radio was a dying thing.
Why were they going to cut your pay?
No, they were giving me a pay bump.
What the fuck's wrong with you?
Dude, I know. Believe me, I could go behind the scenes and tell you a lot more. But did
Fellauer do the same thing? He quit too, right?
No. He stayed there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But they wanted Mark and I and Drew to do it. And they put out a press release. It was in the papers with our pictures. I mean, I went as far as taking the photo shoot with him.
Dude,
yeah.
You would have had your own sports show.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have. I don't know. I had soured on radio, and I saw the writing on the wall, and I thought it was a perfect time for us to just do a podcast. To be honest with you, we would have been first out of the gate, and you know, whatever is what it is. But Drew and I are cool now. That's all that matters. So
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. But you know, you're right about some things, wrong about others. What are you gonna do? You know, part of me goes, fuck, you should have left 10 years earlier and done your own thing when radio was still hopping in a thing, and you know.
Well, and I felt the same way. When I jumped the DFN prematurely because I thought there's no way we're going to win this thing if we don't go FM, and they didn't go FM.
Yeah,
and we lost, and that's kind of why I went to 97.1. I was like, well, at least I got a chance.
Yeah,
you know, over there.
Yeah. well, sometimes it works out in our favor, sometimes it doesn't. But what are you going to do? So, what do you think for next week, buddy? Do you think the Lions should be able to handle whoever comes to town? I kind of do too.
I think they can beat either of those teams at home. I didn't like going on the road if they had to, but I think getting those guys at home was key.
Yeah.
And, it'll be a great fucking atmosphere again.
Yeah.
Don't you know anybody who can get us tickets cheap?
Not really.
God,
most
man,
of the people
you've
that I
fallen
know.
so far.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It was great when Risa Balam was there.
I know Risa. Yep,
yeah,
she was in Pittsburgh.
Risa's fucking awesome. I loved Risa. And but there were some dickheads around there too. I don't
Always were.
Yeah. I don't know if they're still around or not, but Risa I loved, and she would have done anything, if she could. But I just
had to get up there and bang some ticket lady and get us some tickets.
Right? Do you really want to go to the game?
I would go if I could. I just can't spend $500 to go to. I can't justify that.
Yeah, two kids in college, man, and a dog.
Yeah, I know. I got college payments due every month, brother.
Well,
plus, I have to support my wife in the manner she's become accustomed.
Yeah, that's true. Got to take care of her. Well,
it
looked like you guys were having fun with Oyster today. I was following along with your daily pictures and.
We got up and we were just going to Home Depot. And then we ended up at the dog park, and then we ended up in Holland on the beach. And it was, oh my God, it was cold.
Yeah.
On the beach.
Windy as hell.
Ugh. It looks so cold. Every one of your pictures looks so cold.
Did you guys get snow?
Yeah. We got, I don't know, 8 inches around here.
You got 8 inches?
Something like that. Yeah. If I look on the deck, it looks like 8, but it could be 6.
We have about 30.
Yeah, dude, I saw the pictures your wife posted. That's 3 feet deep at least.
It's about 3 feet. I still plowed 4 times in 2 days just to keep on top of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you getting that lake effect? Is that what's going on there?
Yeah, it's lake effect. It blows in off the lake.
Yeah, when I
Get
worked
this.
Yeah.
What did your old boy do Thursday at 2:00 in the afternoon?
What?
I went to a pawn shop and got a sweet snowblower for $200.
Really?
Yeah.
And it worked?
It's great. It's almost new.
Oh, wow.
I've let all my neighbors use it.
Yeah. We don't have that kind of money to throw around.
I just said someone must have been on hard times to pawn a new snowplow. I feel like
I'm thinking about putting it on eBay for like $1,000.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
What is it, a riding one?
No, it's just a Briggs and Stratton pusher. It's great.
Oh, yeah, those engines are
20
great.
feet.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's sweet.
Hey.
I'm letting my neighbors use it.
Oh, hell yeah. That's great. Yeah, that area is quite unique. When I worked in Kalamazoo, I couldn't believe, like when you'd get just past Lansing and you'd start hitting that lake effect, holy shit. It's like a different state.
Michelle says Kalamazoo's an armpit. Is that true?
Yeah, sort of is.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean,
never really been.
I was there so long ago, and I was there for a year. But, I was there for a winter, and it was brutal. Yeah. Some little shitty alternative rock station doing mornings there,
Oh, funny. That's cool.
Yeah, Radio X 93.1.
It's funny. I was just telling my wife the station I got my first on-air job in Flint just went dark.
Really?
It was an AM 1470 when I started, and then it went FM while I was there.
Really?
It went dark.
Did you guys do any numbers there, or?
Well, it was country, and it did okay but I had 80-year-old ladies calling me, offering me blowjobs and stuff. I shit you not.
You gotta be kidding me.
Her name was Shar. To this day, she'd call me drunk, and she'd want me to come over after my shift.
So what happened after you went over there after your shift?
yeah.
I did not go over there. I married her.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got all her inheritance.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Hey,
it was the funniest shit. She'd call me every night. I'd pick up and she'd go, "Hey, baby."
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I remember those because I did overnights for a while, and I remember some of those late night calls. And then it's weird. I had someone show up at my house with chicken noodle soup when I called in sick one day, and it was like, oh shit, this is like early internet days. Like you shouldn't be able to figure out where the fuck I live in Lansing.
And they're like, "I know where you live, Mike. I know where you live.
Yeah.
I'll see you tonight."
Yeah, a little weird, but she was sweet. She was sweet. Hey, I wanted to ask you
Troy?
what's that?
Where's Troy then?
He moved out.
Where'd he go?
What's that?
Why'd he move out?
Well,
That's a good question.
Yeah, it's a good question. I asked him to.
Why?
I'll tell you off the air. I'll tell you.
Is everything okay? Or
Oh
no?
yeah. No, everything's fine.
The marriage is broken up.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Well, you know what? At least that answers the question. You weren't gay lovers.
No. We were.
Well, does it though? I mean,
Shut up, Isis. Yeah, I know how it looks. I don't care. Whatever.
Well, my wife's like, well, is that his boyfriend?
Oh shit! How could people not say that? You have two
She
fucking
didn't say
guys.
that. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Two guys. And then at the time you're sick with diabetes, and I said it's just this gay caretaker.
Yeah. Sure.
It's
Have
your
your
legal
fun.
friend. I mean, look, it's two guys living together in their 50s, putting together Legos. Someone's smoking pole. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I get it. Believe me, I can see how the connection is made. I find myself doing that. I'm doing a story. I'm like, oh, this guy's 48 years old and living by himself. He's never been married, no kids. Fucking homo.
Hey,
and then I'm like, wait a
And he
minute.
has an Aussie.
Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute. I just described myself to a fucking T. And so I understand why people would say that. But I'm very comfortable in my masculine manhood.
Are you, though?
Yeah, I am.
Are you, though?
Yeah, I've dated.
And you're from San Francisco.
Family is. So leave me alone. Hold on. I wanted to ask you one more thing. Have you paid attention
Sure.
at all to the Michael Wilbon, Stephen A. Smith stuff?
I thought it was Stephen A. Smith and Jason Whitlock.
Or Jason Whitlock, Michael Wilbon.
Yeah. I hate Stephen A. Smith.
So do I.
He's a phony. Yeah, he's a phony gangster.
Yeah, totally. Have you followed that at all, though?
I have. I know Whitlock personally, and I like him.
I do too.
Now, do you know Whitlock's philosophy?
No.
I'm very comfortable making other people uncomfortable.
He's fucking great, man. He's a brilliant writer.
I like him.
He's very, very smart, very good. Well,
and he is a black guy who doesn't go along with standard line, and that pisses off some of the other black guys like Stephen A. Smith.
Absolutely.
That's all that is. Like my wife and I have played whirly ball with him. He's friends with Wojo.
Who is Whitlock?
Yeah. They both were in Ann Arbor. He was in Ann Arbor for a while, and
Yep.
he knows him pretty well. But Jason is a Christian, and he just acts like a Christian. If you don't like it, you don't like it.
Yeah. He's come out more Christian and all that stuff. It seems like the last couple of years.
It's since his dad died, I believe.
Oh, is that what it is?
I think there was a point where he kind of wanted to revisit his spirituality, so to speak. I'm very ignorant on religion. I believe that's what his goal was, to just kind of ground himself again.
Yeah,
he's a very articulate, deep thinking guy.
100%. You can tell in articles he's written. You can tell when you listen to him. And it sounds like he did a review of Stephen A. Smith's book and shit on it. And when he went piece by piece, I got kind of enamored with it the other day. And I was watching a lot of the video that Whitlock was putting out, and he just step by step, he annihilated Stephen Smith. And of course, I go on Twitter, I go on anything else, and everybody in the ESPN landscape is like, "Oh yeah, Stephen A. Smith just put a coffin up for Whitlock, all this." And I'm like, "Are you fucking joking me? Are you kidding right now?" Whitlock destroyed him, and
their intellect isn't on the same planet.
Not on the same planet. It's just not. And this idea of, oh, you're a black man, you have to follow this narrative, is such nonsense. And I have so much more respect for guys like that go, no, you don't get to put me in this category because of the color of my skin.
Well, here's the thing. Stephen A. Smith is not a bad dude. I know him a little bit. I've met him. He's a friend of Rob Parker's.
Yeah.
The thing about Stephen is I think he's phony.
Yeah.
That's all. I don't believe anything he says is real. I think it's all. He's almost like, okay, when Rob Parker was here, Rob would listen to people out in his universe that would tell him things that he should be doing, and he wouldn't listen to professionals. Like we were telling Rob, if you pull it back 3%, your audience will grow 100%. but he insisted on thinking he was the Black Howard Stern. And he's learned this now. I talk to him a lot now.
Yeah.
And I think he learned that. And I think with Steven, it's the same thing. Everything's about being a hype man and not being, authentic. And I think right now in our business, authenticity wins.
Yeah. I think so
think
too.
Jason's real.
Well, anytime one of these guys starts a sentence with like, as a black man, blah, blah,
Yep.
I know what's coming next is nonsense.
Also, my wife just nudged me and said, well, McAfee, he's a phony too.
Yeah, there's something phony about him. I don't know what it is, but
I don't get it. I just don't get it.
But with Stephen A, when Whitlock is pointing out like this isn't how basketball tryouts worked, back in our day. You did not go into a gym, sink 17 threes in a row, and have a coach give you a fucking scholarship on the spot. That's not how it works. No. That's a story you tell in your book. That's a story you brag about, but that did not happen. And I notice everybody that's shitting on Whitlock, none of them will dispute the things he's saying and pointing out about Stephen A's book, where he's like, I don't care. This didn't happen. There's no photos of this. There's no picture.
There's no evidence of it anywhere.
None. He's like, I do the most research, and I can find pictures of me and my corny buddies in high school. There's evidence of us together with football pads on. There is zero to back up any of Stephen A's story.
Did you see the Whitlock trolling though, where he says, "I was quarterback at Michigan"?
Wait, Whitlock said he was?
Go look at his timeline. He's like, I was a quarterback at Michigan. NCAA probation sanctions got me kicked off. Thank God Bo let me play both ways so I could transfer to Ball State and play offensive line.
Hilarious.
He claims he was an all Big Ten quarterback. And fucking people fall for it.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's hilarious.
You got to go look at his Twitter feed. You'll laugh.
I will. I've been following it for a couple days, and the way Steven wants to bow out of it now, and there's.
Oh wait, what's Steven say?
Oh, he's like, I'm never going to mention his name again. That fat bastard. He's doing.
No, the minute he called him a fat bastard, you knew
it was
Whitlock
over.
won.
Yeah,
Whitlock won.
Yeah, yep.
If that's the worst you can do is call him a fat bastard.
The amount of stupid jockheads on TV backing Stephen A. Smith, though, is comical.
Oh, I know. That's why no one watches ESPN anymore.
Yeah.
It's because they're all a bunch of piss poor little phony boys.
Yeah, who couldn't write if they had to. No. They're not journalists. To act like
I don't even consume their product anymore, Mike. I never even watch it unless it's a live play-by-play event, and with the Big Ten moving away from ESPN, I don't know when I'll ever turn it on.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I stopped watching it years ago.
I never was a big Sports Center nerd, though. I know a lot of people were. I just never was.
I was back in high school, but not now. When it was Dan Patrick and that absolute lunatic Keith Olbermann, back.
That's a guy who's screw popped loose, no doubt.
Oh my God, like
even he's not. It's not even that he's a lib. It's that he's insane.
Insane. Yeah, insane.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yep. He's right up there with Sulu or whatever from Star Trek. The gay little fucking Asian. Yeah. That's not Sulu, but
George Takei.
Yeah, George Takei. Just like off the deep end, batshit crazy. Rob Reiner levels,
Oh my God. And what's her name? Kathy Griffin.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
and I didn't care about
off the reservation.
I didn't care about any of those people when were in the heart of their careers, and I don't care about them now. But yeah, I worry about what's his name in New York there, Keith Olbermann. Like that dude. I don't know if he's going to go on a shooting spree and murder a bunch of people, or
I hope he just jumps off his balcony. Don't kill anyone else.
Yeah, he may. Who knows? But that is like serious.
And it's weird because he disappears and then all of a sudden just goes crazy.
Yeah.
I know, it's insane.
He's another one with no kids, never married. Must be a homo.
Yeah, but he's not manly like you, Mike.
Exactly. All man over here.
What about me though? I'm not married, no kids.
Yeah, he didn't cry at the Lions win.
No, but I do cry.
He does cry. So. Yeah.
Wait, how old is he?
39.
Are you a virgin?
No.
40-year-old virgin.
I've had sex a few times.
He's as
Your
close
hand
to
doesn't count.
he's as close to a virgin as you can get with having had sex.
Is he a born again virgin?
He might as well be. He's right there. But technically, his dick's gone into vagine, so.
I will. Mike knows this famously. I don't know where prostitutes fall in line as far as that, but in my like sexual
I count
conquest, I don't count them.
Wait, what are your pronouns?
he, them, I guess, or whatever.
He, them. Shut up, you Zizur. You're a Zizur and you know it.
No, I'm not. I'm not
Zizur.
that guy. Although I'm the liberal person, I guess, to Mike. I know that on this show, it's so funny. On this show, when I do shows with Mike, a lot of his listeners will call me liberal. All my comic buddies that I know that's liberal, I'm like a fucking Trumper conservative. So I don't know where I fall in line.
Mike is right of Attila the Hun, man.
I know. And every time Greg's on, he calls Troy a libtard or he calls me whatever.
So Troy kind of took over as a liberal person?
No, hell no.
Okay, I didn't know.
Troy's not liberal.
No.
But what do you
He's just
think?
not right enough.
Yeah.
What do you think I am, Mike?
Exactly, not right enough. You're
like, for real.
You're more stupid than anything else, I think, is what it boils down to.
I'll take it.
You know what Troy's problem was?
Huh.
He's the type of guy that would put #girldad in his Twitter bio.
Yeah, probably.
He's gone, so we can make fun of him now.
Yeah, you can make fun of him now, sure.
Behind his back to his face.
Now that we finally threw him out of the fucking house.
Yeah, exactly. Now that he's gone.
I'm glad. I didn't want to say this, but I'm glad he's gone. Fuck him.
A lot of grievances I have.
Did you keep all the Legos in the divorce?
Those are all mine. I'm a proud fucking adult Lego master.
Well, he didn't keep all the pots and pans, though.
Some of the pots and pans were stolen. Some of them were returned. I have an update.
Wait, he stole some pots and pans?
Yeah,
maybe.
Dude, that's the most gay thing I've ever heard.
I agree. He claims it was an accident, but whatever.
He's coming back to your house and putting a hatchet in your head.
Yeah, probably. And then it's going to look like more of a homo relationship.
After another round of sex, he'll kill you.
Oh, my God. All right. I'm ending this conversation now.
I'll bet you are.
I'm choking on something.
Oh, wow, Jesus.
Whoa.
I said that on purpose. Come on.
Overshare.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to sit here and play with Oyster then.
There you go. I'm going to go watch the game. Don't tell me what's going on.
She is so pretty. I'll send you a new picture.
Yeah, please do. That doesn't sound gay at all either. Send me pictures of your puppy. Hey, Greg, let's Oh, you got to give her kisses. She's a good girl. She's a good roots.
She's the best girl going.
Yeah. Do you want to talk again next week?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's do it. Let's plan it. I know you'll be on the west side. You won't be able to come in, but
eventually I'll get down there. It's just
that's all right. We'll do it. But
all right, we can do it over Zoom too if you want.
Yeah, maybe we shoot for that next week.
All right, cool.
All right, buddy. Thanks for all the time, Greg. I really appreciate it.
Take it easy.
See you, buddy. Bye.
Later.
Bye. Fucking hilarious. Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't know. I was wondering what that was.
It was me holding the
By the way,
phone connection.
You know what's kind of interesting to me? I was, while you guys were bringing up Spielman, and I love him. I really do. And I think I assume he seems like to be doing a very good job. But did you know, I don't know if it's just the NFL has changed, but what would you guess his career sacks were, for example?
Spielman?
Yes, 9 seasons.
So he's not a defensive end. He was a linebacker.
Okay, so is that the deal then? My bad then. I didn't know him well enough to what he played.
He probably wouldn't have a shit ton of sacks.
That's my fault for not knowing.
Okay, honestly, why? What did he have?
10.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought...
How many years did he play?
9.
9, okay. Yeah.
That's my fault. To be honest with you, I didn't remember.
Yeah, if he was a D lineman or a defensive end that was starting and making Pro Bowls and
okay, because I saw that, I was kind of shocked by that, but I didn't realize
how many tackles and TFLs does he have?
I'd have to look.
I bet he was a stud, no doubt about it. He was a stud.
I have a question too about the game last night that I feel like you are someone who's more, for one, being there in general makes it harder, but also you know more of this stuff. What happened the final drive that the Rams had? When they were on 3rd down, that place was fucking loud. And they kind of gave him a timeout or something. Do you know what I'm talking about? Dude, this is the last drive.
Is that when they took
I thought
they took Puka Nacua out of the game?
That isn't even this one.
You're talking about
There's
when
a
they thought
different
they
one.
wanted him to get checked out again?
No, this is a different one, dude. And I'm telling you, I thought they were about to pull that 97 shit they did for with Barry, where they were going to tell us the crowd was too loud.
Oh, they wouldn't do that.
But this is not. This is a different one than that. I believe. I don't
Was
believe
it
anyone
3rd and
checked
14? That
Yeah.
play?
This was not the play where some guy, they kind of checked in and checked out, and then he came back in or something.
Yeah, there
It
was
wasn't that, dude.
Oh, you know what? I think what you may be talking about is that the Lions. No, because there was one moment that was like, what the hell? And the Lions were trying to go fast tempo. And
Well, I'll say this,
And then
Amy didn't know either.
They stopped and let him sub in. But I don't know. I mean, I've got it upstairs. You could go look at it.
Maybe we could. I'm just really legit curious because it seemed to me like dude, the crowd was fucking loud. It was 3rd down. This was the last big drive, and all of a sudden they kind of just stopped and gave the Rams a chance to fucking kind of regroup or something. Maybe I'll have to watch it on the TV.
Well, they wouldn't have done that. But I can't remember what it was. But I was texting a lot too.
Okay.
I was kind of in my phone during the game, texting with people, and
that was kind of funny for me. I do know what he means by that. I kind of do. Although I could have even gone harder. I could tell you that I've watched those Cub reaction videos and cried. I could have said that. I didn't. I kind of held back.
If you would have told him that, he might have driven over and beat you.
Yeah. I got that sense. But that's okay. That's who I am. It is what it is.
There's definitely something to getting older and a little hardened to this stuff.
Yeah.
And a little, like, all the rah-rah shit that you bought into when you were a kid, that's easy to do. It's easy when it's like, hey, we're doing the walk for mankind, and we're going to walk 20 miles and raise money for mankind. Like, what the fuck was that? Why were we all walking 20 miles for mankind? Like, there's a reason you get idiot fucking middle school kids to do that.
Right.
There's a reason you get moronic high school students
Well,
to do
I think
dumb
that it
shit
shouldn't.
like
And,
that.
it wasn't.
And I think that's true. When you get older, it's like I have no interest in going to the game. What you could give me free tickets, and I would not go to the
I think
stadium
it shouldn't
next
be
week.
discounted, and I wish this I would have said because I don't think it's mean. I think it shouldn't be discounted that both of you guys got to do a lot of things that regular fans never get to do.
Probably.
He got to cover these teams. I mean,
yeah,
regular people don't get to do that.
And as the programmer of
And
the
he's worked
station,
jobs.
he would have had access that.
I wish I would have said this because, like I said, I'm not trying to talk behind his back. And I would say it to. I don't think it's mean. He worked a job he liked.
Yeah.
People don't work jobs they like.
Right.
That's why some of these things they do have that.
Well,
is maybe
remember
the only
next
thing
time we
they
talk
have.
to him.
I will.
If we have him on next week,
Right.
that's a fair.
And I don't think it's a mean
And
thing.
it's true because after going to hundreds and hundreds of concerts and events, I'm done with them.
Like I will say,
So I get it. And had I not done that, had I paid for every ticket, and only gone to a handful, 1 or 2 a year when I could afford it, like I would. It'd still be a big deal to me.
And
but
it doesn't
it's not
mean
now.
you would cry. I'm not going to get down the crying route. I don't think it would matter.
The crying thing doesn't bother me as well. I get it. And I'm not one of those that's going to be that rough on people. Like, dude, emotions take over for all types of reasons. And if that's your thing, and like I was saying to him, that could just as easily be your father had season tickets for 50 years and never saw a playoff win, and now he's gone.
Yeah.
And this would have meant the world to him. My buddy Derek said yesterday, he texted me, and I was just like, fuck, man. He goes, do you know how much my dad and Bobby would have loved this?
Yeah.
And he was talking about, goddammit, Uwe.
Right.
Uwe and our boy Bobby that committed suicide. And they were both huge Lions fans. And it was like, it kind of hit me in that moment, like, yeah, man, there are friends and family that aren't here right now that would have absolutely loved this.
And I'm not, by the way, I'm really not trying to, like, he gets off the phone and I'm just defending I felt like I stood up enough.
No,
and
you were fine.
I admitted that I did it. I said I wouldn't be ashamed of it. I just think everyone has different stuff. And, like, I do know what he means. I think there are people, when I listen to these call-in shows, there are people where I'm like, yeah, dude, what are you doing? What are you calling up and giving your analysis of the third round draft pick? You know, I don't understand it.
Yeah, and I can't do those anymore either. Anytime they go to the phones and take callers, I'm like, don't tell me what Pete Livonia thinks. I don't give a shit. He doesn't know anything. The talking heads that are professionally doing it on TV don't know anything.
I know.
They all guess these game wrongs. They all
guessed yesterday's game wrong.
All of them. And they all guess wrong with, so-and-so's he's the key to this whole game. He's going to have a breakout. He's going to have 2 sacks and a pick.
Right.
They don't know shit. They're just throwing out whatever. And every once in a while they're right. They're probably right like a fan is 50% of the time.
Right. And you're right. 50%
of the time.
Maybe next week, if it comes up naturally, maybe I would bring it up. But I would say that is it. Like that is not to be dismissed. That
Remind me of it. I can find a way to bring it up because it's a fair.
If you've gotten to work a job, I would say I've told you before that I think if I had not gotten lucky that some things went the way they went, I finally got a break with the internship and yada yada that all led to whatever. I might have been that fan. I really had visions of me being a dude who had season tickets to all the teams, and maybe that's all I did. Whatever job I had that paid for those, I wouldn't have cared, and I just like, oh, there's the dude who goes to every game and he paints his face or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that could have been me. I really believe that because I didn't have anything else really in my life. So I got lucky that things came out. But anyway.
All right, let's do a couple emails and get out of here. I'm going to watch the game, see who the Lions will figure out tonight, who they're playing next
Crazy,
week.
Dude. I will say, man, I am where he was on that, though. It is all icing to me personally.
Yeah.
I hope they win next
Believe
week.
me, I've said that before. You're going to be just as fired up next weekend.
No, I will be.
It's the way it works.
I will be, but I will be able to walk away from that and go, I got to see what I wanted to see.
With a little reflective time. Yeah. When you reflect back on it, you go, dude, they made major steps. Which is true.
Sure.
And the fact that free agents might be easily welcome to Detroit,
absolutely
want to come here, huge. The upside is massive, and they've already accomplished that.
Absolutely.
But go as far as you can go. They should win next week, no matter who they're playing.
Though. You're right about that. I don't fear either of those teams.
Mike, I have to actually agree with the E-tard for once.
Oh, no.
He mentioned a couple shows back about how annoying it is when you're making food in the kitchen and someone walks in and gets in your way. When my kids come in while I'm making dinner, it is a pain in the ass. The audacity Ms. Fady has to walk into her kitchen and get in the way of her living adult kid eating food she bought is incredible.
Yeah, that must be rough.
Mike, who total 180?
I know.
Who are you going to root for? It's a Lions-Niners championship. If it's a Lions-Niners championship game. I believe in the past you said you'd root for the Lions. Did you ever think that would be a real thing? I sure as hell didn't. Go Lions, Connor. I don't think I've ever said that I would root for the Lions. Now, I would say it wouldn't. It would be really hard. And I've told the story before about I think it was 2010 maybe World Series, Tigers, Giants.
Yeah.
And that ended up being a miserable experience for me.
Yeah. 2012, yep.
2012.
Sorry.
I felt like a traitor to whichever team I was rooting against. I felt like a traitor to them because I'm a big Giants fan in the NL and Tigers in the AL.
I will say this. I'm glad I don't have that. I know why you do. I get it. Like there's a reason you do, but I'm glad that I don't have that as an issue. And even like with Michigan State, I've never cheered for Michigan State. I just don't.
It's never it's never come up where it really mattered. Lions Niners my entire life because the Lions have always been down. Now the Niners have been to 7 Super Bowls and they've won 5.
Right.
The Lions have never. The closest they came was 91 and a blowout loss to Washington.
Yep.
So it would not break my heart. See, my family's had this discussion. My mom would be rooting for the Lions.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't shock me.
As much as she's a Niners fan, she loves the Lions. My mom's adorable. She always feels bad when a kicker misses a field goal. She always feels bad, not for the kicker, for the kicker's mom.
Right.
That's her thing. She's like, oh, his poor mother. His mom's sitting at home watching this.
Yeah. My mom always says, as far as cheering for the team, she more is upset when they lose because she knows how mad I am.
Yeah.
Like she's and my mom likes sports. She absolutely watches. Like so she cares.
My dad will be 100% 49ers. Couldn't give a shit less.
Yeah.
My mom and I were ragging on him because he was secretly like high-fiving himself when the Lions got fucked on that call from Dallas.
See, no, that's bullshit. No,
because it helped the Niners in that they got the 1 seed.
Okay.
Blah, blah, blah.
Well, that's fair. Never mind.
So he was like,
that's
but
fair.
he roots for the Lions. But in a Niners-Lions championship game, he's 100% Niners.
I respect that.
My brother and I, as people that grew up as die-hard Niner fans and have lived here long enough that we're big-time Lions fans, my brother was like, hey, whichever team wins, we'll root our asses off for them going forward.
Yeah.
So it's a weird thing. It's not going to happen very often.
No.
It has never been an issue in my life. I can't tell you in the moment, like, you almost have to wait till the moment happens because I'm that down the middle on the Niners and Lions.
And with sports,
like, those are my teams. And so when it comes down to it, it's like, kickoff happens, you find yourself instinctively going, oh, go, 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 when a guy's making a big run.
Yeah.
Who do you do that for? I can't answer that question until the moment. That's
I believe,
as honest as I can be about it.
I believe it will be the Lions. And I only say that, though, because I do think that
the Niners have had theirs.
I think that that's the thing. And,
Yeah.
and not just like when you were a kid. It's not like, oh, they won a few when you were 7. As an adult, you've seen them win.
I've seen them in it and win it, and
Yeah.
you know, as much as I want them to win it. But at the end of the day, and I may be pissed in the moment, like, I can't believe the Niners lost. I can't believe the Lions lost.
Yeah.
But I'll get over it quick and be like, in 2 weeks, one of my teams is in the
Yeah,
Super Bowl.
100% for
Unbelievably awesome win-win.
Yeah.
So that look, as if that were to
I can't believe
happen,
we're even having this discussion, to be honest with
Well-
you. It's such a surreal thing to be having this
dude,
talk.
I know, but the Lions should win next week.
I know.
They have a better chance of being in the NFC Championship game than the Niners do in this.
fucking-
And dude, they could easily be at home for that game.
I've had to
it's crazy.
For the first time in my life, I've had to plan. So I'm going down to see Pat Green in Dallas in 2 weeks,
Of
right?
course you are.
Right. And I had to sit there and look at flights and think, you know, they might be in the NFC Championship game that day.
Yeah.
And so, like,
Dude.
I'm having to, like, plan these things around that I never would have ever had to worry about.
Yeah, yeah. You better get that straight. You do not want to be in a flight during a championship game.
Yeah. It'd be rough. So,
Yeah.
but.
All right,
Crazy.
Jesus. Well, let's shut it down there. Thank you to Greg Henson for coming on and talking about the Lions and making fun of me.
I'm gonna go home and cry.
Yeah, that's okay. You can do that. Just make sure you film it for me.
Okay.
And I appreciate his wife sniggering in the background. It was sweet, and I could hear Oyster too. God, that dog's awesome. So, anyways, have a great rest of the day, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.